It's like a horror movie.
What's happening?
We're rolling?
Yep. I'm Kaylee Bain, founder of Honeygen Marketing. Today I am here with Javier Leiva, and he has one of the coolest podcasts I think I've ever listened to. It's called Pretend.
Yep.
Tell us all about it.
Well, I've been doing Pretend for 8 years, and Pretend is a podcast about people pretending to be someone else. But I like to say, like, the elevator pitch is that I interview con artists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's usually what I say.
Which usually, Pretend is more than just interviewing con artists, because I've interviewed undercover cops who are pretending to be someone else, but they're doing it for a good reason, right? Like, you probably don't know him. Donnie Brasco. Do you know Donnie Brasco? No?
I don't know.
It's probably before your time. Yeah, I interviewed the real Donnie Brasco. He was the longest deep cover operation in FBI history. Like, he embedded himself in the mafia. He was played by Johnny Depp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I interviewed the real guy, and so he was pretending to be someone else. But I've also interviewed cult leaders. I've interviewed serial killers. I've interviewed all kinds of people. It really is wild.
Oh my gosh. So for those of you who don't know, Javier and I work together. Actually, Javier saved me. And so, no, he's great. He's an amazing boss. He's our executive producer here at Walk West. I'm one of the producers here. So we work pretty close together, but I love talking to him about his podcast. And I'm like, who are you interviewing right now?
Yeah.
And what was the, it was a Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, yeah, Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I was really intrigued by that episode because I was like, oh my God, like this guy who claims to be a con artist is like not, or what was?
Yeah, so like the story is, Catch Me If You Can is based off of a true story, an autobiography, or a true story.
Right. Yeah, true story.
For those of you listening in audio, those were air quotes. But Frank Abagnale is the guy, he wrote his autobiography, on all these crazy things that he did from the age of 16 to 21. He impersonated a pilot. He impersonated a professor, a lawyer, a doctor, all while playing this game of cat and mouse with the FBI. And it turns out that once I started digging, like, almost none of it was true. Like, some of it was true, but like mostly not true. And when they say based on a true story, this was based on complete fantasy, because Frank Abagnale did dress up in a pilot costume to get free flights here and there, but that's it. Like, that's as...
He never actually flew anything.
No. And he never passed the bar exam without going to law school. He never was a supervisory pediatrician at a hospital. Like, none of that was true. But what was really fascinating is that once we started pulling all these records to prove that his story was false, what really happened is actually more interesting than the movie, because he really was a con artist. It's just not the con artist that
he was saying,
that we were told. Yeah, and it's wild. Like,
didn't you like find him somewhere he was talking?
Oh yeah,
kind of like got him off guard, and he was like, "What the hell are you doing here?"
So I'm a journalist by trade. Like, that was. I was in TV journalism for when I started my career, so I don't take no for an answer. So I asked him to be on my podcast, and he goes, one of his people wrote me back, and they're like, "Mr. Leiva, I'm sorry, but Mr. Abagnale no longer talks about his past." And I was like, this guy's like the greatest con artist of all time. Why wouldn't he want to go on a podcast about con artists? And it turns out that he didn't want me to ask tough questions. And so because he said no to me, I found out that he was going to be speaking at the MGM in Las Vegas.
Oh, God.
And so I bought a $800 ticket to some conference that I cared nothing about. And I watched his speech. He told this grand story, and then I waited for him because I was like, he's either going to walk out left or right. And I'm like, I got a 50-50 chance, but I think he's going to walk out the right side of the stage. And so I met him outside, and I brought the biggest microphone I could find so that he could say that he can't say that, oh, I didn't know I was being recorded. Like, I wanted him to know.
For me, obvious.
Yeah, but then I wanted the first question to be like a softball so that he thinks I'm a friendly reporter. And so I'm like, wow, your life story is so unbelievable. And, and
he ate it up.
Really, yeah.
I remember that part of the episode was one of my favorites. I was like, oh my God, this is like, you're spilling all the tea right now. Like,
right.
Give it to me. Like,
but then the second question, I hit him with a right hook because I said, how is it that you were pretending to be a pilot, doctor, lawyer, professor from the age of 18 to 21, or 16 to 21, if you were sitting in prison the entire time? Because that's how I know that he didn't do any of this stuff, because he couldn't have. He was in prison most of that time. And he goes, oh, no, you got the timeline wrong. I go, and I pulled out the prison records. And he goes, oh, well, and then I got him to admit that he had nothing to do with the movie, the book, and all that stuff. So, like, I got him to back off of those comments. And now this guy would go on stage and do, like, speeches and get paid $40,000 a speech. Now he can't even do that anymore because my audience has already listened to the story and they confront him during his live presentations.
Good.
So he doesn't get bookings anymore. I mean, Frank, I know you're listening to Kaylee's podcast, and I'm just saying, listen, it would be so cool if you just admit it and like lean into it, Like
Just
lean into it. Yeah, don't try to deny it. Don't fight it.
Oh my God, that'd be so funny.
It would make such a cool story. You fooled us all. But anyway.
Frank, if you're listening, hello, hi.
It's just some free advice. I know he's listening.
Definitely is.
He's a big fan of Kaylee.
I mean, who's not, right? So the whole point of this podcast, I'm getting all up in your business. I want to be nosy. So, like, what? Right. I know you're not knowing him. He's like not the biggest true crime lover, right?
No, not at all. So, I mean, I don't hate it.
No, not that you don't hate it, but like right. I love it. Like that's why I go to therapy, right? I mean, they're like, "What are you doing, Kaylee?" But like, why? Like, what made you want to go into that? I think it's so interesting.
I think part of it is like if you work at McDonald's, you probably don't want to eat McDonald's. You know what I mean? So like, I don't want to like consume this stuff. It's already really dark.
True, yeah.
You listen to one episode, I have to like spend months and months and months marinating in that stuff, and it's like really dark, right? But then two, like I had no intentions of doing true crime when I started out. And I have no fascination with con artists. Like, I don't know how that happened other than I had this concept for the show Pretend. And I was afraid. I used to do stand-up comedy when I was like in my 20s. Yeah. And I had no problem going on stage and talking in front of a large audience. And something happened in my late 20s where I started getting scared of speaking in public. Like, I couldn't even speak to my team. At work, like without getting nervous. And I got really nervous. And so I came up with this idea. I was like, what if I go back and I do stand-up? Because that sounds terrifying now, right? But I don't go as Javier. I go pretending to be someone else. Because if I'm pretending to be someone else, then I won't be so scared. And then I was like, oh, what if I capture other people's stories about pretending to be someone else, like a ghostwriter or like an author, or whatever. And it was this artsy-fartsy show. And then it was around December, I went home to Miami for Christmas, and my cousin was getting ready to go to federal prison because everyone has a black sheep in the family, right? And so everybody knew that this kid, like he's not a kid, he was an adult, got into trouble, but no one knew exactly what. And so I said...
he never told anyone? Or
well, like nobody ever asked him. Yeah. And so I was like, Eric, can I sit with you and like, can you tell me your story? And I sat with him for like multiple hours, and he told me everything from the time he was like a kid breaking into houses, breaking into cars, all the way to staging car accidents for like insurance fraud, and then all the way till he like worked his way up to owning a medical clinic, hiring a real doctor to write opioid prescriptions to sell to drug dealers and stuff like that. And that's how he got busted. And he told me that story, and I was floored. And that's where the idea went from this artsy-fartsy show that I was planning on doing to like a true crime show. So like after I did that interview, I was like, well, I need to do another one. And another one. And so and 8 years later, here we are.
That's a wild thing. It's been 8 years. That's crazy.
I know.
You have so many cool shows. There's like the LaDonna thing. There's, what's the Stalker one? There's so many cool ones, and like you don't just cover like one kind of person. Like you're all over the map, which I think is really cool.
And like some people are like, "Well, your show's too unpredictable." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I like about it because I cover whatever I'm interested in." You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be doing the same thing. Like, can you imagine the people who do the missing people podcast? It's like the same story all the time, and like I get tired, I get bored easily, so I just need variety.
Same.
And like right now, I'm doing like cancer, like faking story, like people
Right.
that fake cancer. I'm like, I've never done that before, so I'll do that. And yeah.
And it's wild.
so
Like
crazy.
you do cover a lot of things that people are like, holy shit, someone does that?
Yeah.
And it's wild. I learn a new thing that someone does every time I listen to your show. I was like, oh my God, people are messed up.
Yeah, people are messed up. And people ask me, are you jaded? You know, like,
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, because I
Yeah.
know most of us are not like that, you know? But it's definitely made me more aware and
Yeah.
a little paranoid sometimes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Always make sure that doors are locked and my passwords are secure and all that stuff, you know.
Oh God, like
yeah.
I feel like you have to like constantly just be like on edge.
Oh, yeah. I even erased my home from Google Home, Earth, you know, like the Street View.
Oh wow. Oh my God, you can do that?
Yeah, I erased everybody from our cul-de-sac. Everybody like now, like if you go into my cul-de-sac with Street View, we're all blurry. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was possible.
So maybe I am a little paranoid.
Just a little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, rightfully so, though. I mean, you work with Connor.
Right.
So.
Right.
So going from that, what is like, see, you're so different from like, because I do a lot of businesses, so it's like you're like this really cool like local podcast who gets thousands of views, by the way. Like he's big, like he's very humble, but he like
Millions.
yeah, yeah, millions. Yeah, it's okay. You can say, you know, but like, what's like a hard lesson you've learned like along the way? Either a hard lesson, or just like something you've learned that was just like a okay, like either change it up kind of thing, or like what's something you've learned?
Well, actually, and I would like to say that I'm learning all the time. Like I do the show for me first, you know, and then for the audience second. And I've learned that it's a mistake to make it for the audience first, because then my lack of passion shows. You know what I mean? Like, because I did the Stalker, and everybody was like, it was a Stalker series. It was awesome. Like, it was a big hit, right? And
It takes like a couple left turns, and that's what I
Yeah.
think got it. It was like, whoa.
yeah, and the people that the victims that I interviewed, also air quotes, turned out to be the perpetrators, right? And after my podcast came out, like they got indicted with 6 felonies, and it was like such a hit. And I'm like, how do I follow that, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, LaDonna landed on my lap, right? And that's another series that went like bananas. And I'm like, that ended, and I'm like, how do I follow that, right? And so then I started chasing that kind of stuff, even though I was not like passionate, because I
good.
felt like the audience expected that. And, you know, like I did a series recently that I'm like, I did it just because I thought that it was going to get that kind of reaction, and it got that kind of reaction. Like people liked it for the most part. And you could tell by the numbers, by the downloads, but I didn't like it. And so like, that's what I'm learning. It's like, how far can I push it? Which direction do I want to go in? And what do I like and what I don't like? And so I kind of shift depending on what I learn.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's like,
Yeah.
it's a good reminder of like, be passionate about what you're doing.
Right. Make it for you first.
Yeah, because like if you're not passionate about it, it's just gonna be shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like you don't want that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that comes like to working too. Like going back to like you saving me. Like I hated what I was doing. I was just making flyers every day, and I'm like, I know how to do more than flyers.
Yeah.
And I just happened to like reach out to Javi one day, and I was like, "Hi, how's it going over there?" And mind you, this was like my dream job here. And he's just like, "Oh my God, like actually."
I think I met you a total of one time.
One
Yeah.
time.
One time. And you made such an impression on me. Like I knew that one time I was like, we are going to do something together. I just don't know what it was. And when this opportunity showed up, I was like, you were one of my first calls. Like it was like a no-brainer. And it was such a weird thing because I had only met you that one time, but we've kept in touch. And I followed your work. So it wasn't like, you know, like
Yeah,
an
you didn't,
impulse.
like, totally not know me, but in the same way, yeah.
But I followed your work, and your ambition like just showed that first day. And I was like, yeah, I host a meetup where we met for content creators, and I see a lot of people. I meet a lot of people, but like the energy you brought was really like strong. And like I remember that it made like an impression.
Oh,
So,
thanks.
yeah.
But that's like going back to like, you had that opportunity. I can hear like I'm super passionate about being here.
Yeah.
And like I love what I do every day. Like I feel we're doing something different every day, even though we're kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's like it all comes down like if you're passionate about it, like it's so easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So going from that, what is a piece of advice either you would give someone wanting to go down the same lane of what you're doing, or what's a piece of advice you would give, I guess, do people like want to work with you in that realm?
What,
or?
like do true crime podcasting or what?
Yeah, because I know you've done a couple collabs like with someone else who had one of those. Like, I guess
Yeah,
like, what's a piece of advice for something like that?
I think collabs are the name of the game. Like, I think that if you just create content and you're doing it on an island, you're not going to be successful. Like, I think that, like here at Walk West, we talk about the 4 Ps, right? And one of the Ps is partnership. But like, it's true. Like, the reason why I grew was because I partnered with, there was like a class of true crime podcasters that came out in 2017, the year that I started. And we just worked together and we leaned on each other. And if somebody new came in, we're like, hey, let me run your promo. You know, I wanted to lift them up, you know, because eventually we would all help each other out. And I think that's why we all grew together. You know what I mean? Don't work alone, you know?
Yeah, I can't speak enough to that. Like, working alone, it's hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
And so, like, having a team, like, we have a team, like, we have our content studio team of people. And it's like, we couldn't just do one podcast by ourselves. No. Like, granted, I'm trying to do it. We're going to see how it goes, right? But, like, doing the whole thing is so hard alone. So, like, I'm a huge advocate for teams. Yeah. But, yeah, so, I mean, I love that. So what is, I guess, like, do you have anything new coming up, or?
Yeah, I mean, the goal when I started this podcast was that I wanted to do television again, because that's where I started, and I did a lot of PBS documentaries when I was young, and I wanted to do that again. And so, like, finally, that dream is coming true. Like, I've been working with a production company on developing some of the episodes that I'm not going to tell you which ones yet.
We're not going to spoil it.
Yeah, but some of my series are like proof of concept for these streamers like Netflix, Hulu, Peacock. You know, like they look at it and they're like, wow, that would make a great documentary series. I'm developing a lot of IP, you know, but with my podcast, like, it's almost like these networks are like vultures, like looking at the content that these podcasters are creating so that they could turn it into television. And I'm like all about that, because that's I've been on Netflix once, but
he's so humble. He's like,
yeah, one of my stories got turned into a documentary, but it wasn't like the experience that I wanted. And now I've learned a lot from that, and like I'm doing it again, and I feel like it's much better this time around. And so, yeah, my goal is to do more television.
I love that. I'm so excited. I'm really hoping that this next opportunity like really goes through, because like all of us are just like waiting. And we're like, is it going to do it? It's going to do it. Because you know, if there's a premiere, like we're all going to show up.
Oh yeah,
it'll be fun.
There won't be a premiere, but we will make one. We'll rent out the Rialto.
We are going to make the premiere happen.
We'll rent out the Rialto.
Yeah.
Like, stream it.
He's so funny. So where can people find you if they're looking for you anywhere?
Yeah. Social media at Pretend Pod. It's like a horror movie.
What's happening?
So yeah, people can find me at Pretend Pod on any other social stream. So, but yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for coming here, being on here. Again, go look him up. I'm going to have his links in the show notes also. And also, don't forget to subscribe for the next episode, because we're going to have so many local businesses. But now you can see we're all up in your business. And tune in for